Hi, I'm Jeff Stelling, and this is football's greatest Euros. I've been joined by Paul Merson, and each week throughout the tournament, we'll discuss the games and the goals and the headlines around England and Scotland. We'll also get Merse to list some of his favourite Euro moments and players. But today, we're answering your questions about the Euros, about football, about us. Email me and Merse at footballsgreatest@foldingpocket.co.uk or leave us a voice note on 0203 951 9653. Welcome to football's greatest Euros. Okay, let's get started. First question comes from Mark in Chingford. He says, I love summer football tournaments. The first one I can remember is Mexico 86. Oh, God, we all remember that one. Lineker banging them in for England, the Brazilian Josimar. He said, I've never seen a right back like him. And Diego Maradona, of course. What's your favourite tournament ever, Merse?
I'm going to go 82. I'm going to go Paolo Rossi, the game against Brazil. I thought that tournament, and then they went on and won it, Italy. I thought phenomenal tournament. I think England didn't even lose a game that year. I mean, that was when Kevin Keegan and Trevor Brooking were injured. It's weird how you remember tournaments. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then you might say a tournament 2002 World Cup, and I don't really remember a lot about that. So, yeah, I thought Paolo Rossi up, that Brazil game, that was probably the greatest team never to win the World Cup, that Brazil team.
Yeah, I mean, we all remember 86 and what happened to England and Argentina and the hand of God and the other brilliant goal as well. I mean, for me, a couple of standout ones. 1966. I know I don't look that old.
I wasn't even born.
You weren't even born.
No.
You don't know what you were missing.
Yeah, no. No, it's true.
Obviously, when we won the World Cup, and sometimes incidents stand out, and the Gordon Banks save from Pelé in 1970, that will stick with me forever in my mind. Football does that to you, doesn't it?
100%. And then there'll be something next week that you won't remember at all. Yeah, unbelievable.
It's almost like it's the soundtrack of your life, isn't it, through great moments in football. Wes in Balham says, which player are you looking forward to seeing the most at the Euros?
You know what? It is Foden. It's Foden. It's getting that form of club to international. I never done it. I never ever took, when I played for my club, Villa, Middlesbrough and Arsenal, who I played for when I was playing for England, never come off the pitch, Jeff, ever in any of them caps that I won and thought, I played like I did at my club. I never once. And that's why I'm interested to see Foden, because he's been so good at Man City. Now he's got to transform that, and that's what I'm looking for. And these are when the great players, when we talk about great players like your Maradonas, your Messis, people like that, Ronaldo, they perform at the top level, not just at their clubs, at top level. And this is why I want to watch Foden.
I'm interested to see if Jude Bellingham, with so many expectations, whether he can do it as well.
Oh, 100%. And that's what you want. That's what you want. You want to see these players be able to do it for their country. It's not as easy as what people think. People think it's harder to play for your club. It's not. It's much harder to play for him.
Yeah. I tell you mentioned him as well. And I haven't always been Ronaldo's necessarily his greatest fan. It's his 6th European Championship finals. And I mean, it would be fantastic if he was to go out with a sensational goal or something like that.
Oh, phenomenal. Yeah, honestly, Jeff, when you say that 6, I mean,
it's incredible.
That's 24 years. Do you know what I mean?
Incredible.
24 years playing at the top level in a country that got good players.
Yeah.
It's not like you're playing for a country, you see some of these players that have got 190 caps, but they're playing for a team that I could probably still be playing for. Do you know what I mean? So a country, phenomenal. The way he's looked after himself, absolute credit. He wouldn't be the best player in the world for me, but I have utmost respect for the man.
Yeah. He has been. Who's the greatest player ever is another argument. We'll go into it another day, maybe. Lauren in Nuneaton says, I am a big football shirt fan. Which is your favourite at this year's tournament? She says she thinks the French kits are class.
I think the French kit's always nice. I think the away kit's very retro, white, big badge. I got to go for a shirt that I grew up watching the cartoon when I was a kid, Tintin, The Amazing Adventures of Tintin, and the Belgium away kit is it reminds me of the Tintin.
It's great, in fairness.
He's brilliant, and the shorts are the same as his outfit as well. So I'm going to go. It's really weird, the kits though, Jeff. With no sponsorship, they just look like a lot of them look like a plain T-shirt.
Yeah.
A plain T-shirt.
I mean, look, you played for plenty of clubs during your career as well as the national team as well. Did you have a favourite shirt that you wore over the years?
Yeah, I like the yellow one at Arsenal. The yellow with the Adidas stripes up in the corner. I thought that was a nice bright shirt, and I like the shirt, the Arsenal blue one with the zigzag going down. And I say that because I scored my first goal back when I come back from my problems at Crystal Palace, and we wore that kit. So good memory.
Any that you hated?
I weren't one of the banana ones, you know the banana kit that Arsenal had. I wasn't great on that, if I'm being honest. Yeah, and it was a nightmare to sign. Nightmare.
Only kit I'm interested in is the Hartlepool kit. Last year we played away from home in green. I mean, we are blue and white.
Yeah.
And we're back to blue and white this year. Thank goodness for that. You can, of course, leave a voice note as well if you want to take part in this on WhatsApp. The number is 0203 951 9653, 0203 951 9653. Let's hear from one right now.
Hi guys, it's Ryan here from Brighton. Love that you're doing the pod. Now Merse, we know that you're a Chelsea fan, but I was wondering if you were ever close to joining them. Looking forward to the rest of the series, and come on England.
Thanks, Ryan. That's a good question as well. Were you?
No, it's a good question. No, I wasn't. When I was growing up, when I started supporting Chelsea at about 5 years of age, we wasn't very good. We were a poor team. But my dad was a massive Arsenal fan, and he wanted me to sign for Arsenal. So I signed because of my dad. Because if it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't have been a professional footballer. So, my dad wanted me to sign for Arsenal. So I signed for Arsenal.
But your son is involved at Chelsea now, isn't he?
Yeah, he signed at Chelsea. Yeah, he's just got another year, so he goes into the under-10s next season. So yeah, he's doing something that I never got to do. Well, I did wear the Chelsea kit once in a charity game at Stamford Bridge when my hero Ray Wilkins was the manager of the Chelsea team I played for. So yeah, but my boy's at Chelsea now. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, we wish him well, following in his dad's footsteps. Larry, who's in Wrexham, says, Merse, when you went to tournaments, would all of the lads watch the other games together at the hotel?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, that you had to do that. All the players. It'd be interesting now. It would be interesting because back in them days, everybody would have a punt, and bet on the games, but you're not allowed to do that anymore. So that'll be interesting. So yeah, but everybody had to come into the room, watch the game, and a lot of players.
So it wasn't necessarily by choice; you just had to do it.
Yeah, and some a player would. You'd have a couple of players that would be the bookmaker, and they would give you odds on. I remember the lad. You remember the lad at Holland called? Was it Cuckoo? Cuckoo, you remember?
Yeah.
He used to play fullback.
Yeah.
But got a sniff that he was playing centre forward in one of the games. He was 25-1, and he scored that day. He got the first goal. Yeah. So that's what it's like. It won't be like that now because the players are not allowed to gamble on football matches. So I don't know what it'll be like, but everybody used to join in.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched games with Cammy and things like that. Not necessarily on television, but live.
Yeah, I always like now, or when I was drinking, I didn't really like going to the pub. I liked watching it indoors. Like when I can concentrate and watch the game.
Yeah.
When people are talking and everybody's talking all the time, I just don't. Half the people are not watching the game.
Yeah, and when I've been to games, I use Cammy as an example again. I mean, the thing I liked was that he could give me some insight into things that I was missing. Because this might surprise you, but I don't know as much about the game as you ex-professional footballers. So it was nice sometimes, if I've missed something, just to be nudged in the right direction,
Why do you think I should be shocked?
Dave from Folkestone, Merse, did any player used to scare you on the pitch?
Yeah, Stuart Pearce. Not scare me, but I didn't like playing against Stuart Pearce. He was so hard to play against. Yeah, phenomenal player, hard as nails, and you don't get a nickname Psycho for nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I bump into him at Talk Sport from time to time, and honestly.
You wouldn't think, would you?
No, but he's still an imposing figure.
Yeah.
But he's one of the nicest men in the world.
Exactly, yeah. And then we'd meet up with England and go, all right, Mercy, go, yeah, Stuart, yeah. You think you were just kicking me last week? Yeah, great.
I mean, off the field, obviously.
Lovely, right.
Off the field, not having played the game, you look at intimidating characters, and I'll be honest with you, I still don't think there's anybody who's been as intimidating as Sir Alex, who was...
You know what? I talked to my brother. I was going somewhere the other week, and my brother rang me, and he said, "I'm just having a drink with someone," and the player he named was very intimidating on the football pitch.
Who's that?
And I played at the other end, lucky enough, and that was Mick Hartford.
Oh, right.
Oh, now he was odd. Like, I hear a lot of stories about Billy Whitehurst, but I didn't play in the Billy Whitehurst. But he was, the stories you hear about him was like, he was hard. But in my time, Mick Hartford was the one.
Yeah, and Tomo will tell you great stories about what it was like to play against Joe Jordan.
Oh, yeah. My God.
Very hard, very intimidating character. But as it happens, another lovely guy off the pitch. That was often the way, wasn't it?
Always. You know, the ones the nice people were the ones that were hard on the pitch. It's weird, yeah. They were the ones. So, yeah, Mick, lovely bloke.
Yeah, Mick's a fantastic bloke as well. Let's hear from one of you guys out there again.
Bianca here from Manchester. Which England player from your day would you most like to have in the current England team?
Wow. Well, I mean, you played with some fantastic players. Fantastic players. Let's rule yourself out of this. We're not going to say you, but you pick somebody else. It's a great question. Thanks, Bianca.
That is a good question. It's a hard one because Gazza was phenomenal, brilliant footballer. But without being horrible, with Bellingham and with Foden, people like that, we'd probably get by without a Gazza in the team. We wouldn't get by without a Tony Adams or a Sol Campbell. You know, I didn't get to play with Rio. He come to the thing, but Rio was a Rolls Royce of a defender, Rolls Royce. But I'd have to pick Tony Adams or Sol Campbell because that's where we struggle, is in that position. So for me, we'll go with Tony Adams because his leadership. You know, but I was bang unlucky Sol Campbell because I think if you put them two at the back for this Euros, I don't think there'll be a question then.
Yeah. We're short of a left back as well, aren't we? So Stuart Pearce might come into it again.
Stuart Pearce would come in and you put David Seaman in goal.
Yeah.
You know,
there'd be an argument of Alan Shearer playing.
Of course you have for Shearer, you know. So there's, I mean, for me, there's a lot of players, but I'm just picking Tony, one, because he's a leadership, and two, because that's where I think we are a bit short, is at the back.
Yeah. Steve from Yarm, he's got a good memory. Jeff, I loved your iconic speech about Middlesbrough. How long did it take for you to put it together, and did the producers know you were going to do it? That was a speech that started off.
Yeah, I remember, I thought it was cuffy, no? I thought it was off the cuff.
Yeah, well, it was partly off the cuff, but not all off the cuff. There was a survey published this week which ranked Middlesbrough as the worst place to live in England and Hartlepool the 20th worst. To be honest, I thought it was upside down. The people who compile this, Tosh, no disrespect, are the people who've never been north of Rickmansworth unless they're going to the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. They're the sort of people who think that we all live in Coronation Street style terraces in the north. They're the sort of people who call their mushy peas guacamole, and so on, and so forth. Look, I had a few ideas for it, Steve, and then it sort of gathered a life of its own, really. Obviously, when we got round to some of the people who lived in Middlesbrough, I had a list of those ready to go. And this lot, Merse and Tomo and Shot, they're all on their feet, egging me on. So it went on for a bit longer than I imagined.
Fair play, it was good. I played at Middlesbrough, great people.
Yeah, great fantastic. People. And like everywhere else, Middlesbrough's got its relatively grim parts. So has Hartlepool, despite what I tell you normally. But you name me a town that hasn't. Everywhere has. Everywhere has. And you got the big thing there. It's got great people. Of course I'm biased.
He's got great people.
Yeah. Did you have, as a player, did you have any managers who were sort of inspirational speakers before games or during games?
I'd probably have to go with Jules Graham. I'd have to go. I thought tactically he was unbelievable. Harry was great as well, don't get me wrong. But I just thought in the early part of my career, when you was a young lad who who needed to be told the game and taught the game a lot more than what I did at 34 and 35. I thought George was phenomenal. I'd never felt during a game, Jeff, that the game was running away from us. Do you know what I mean? I never thought we're here and we ain't got a clue what we're doing. I thought tactically he was spot on. So I would have to say George, his tactics were great. And as I say, you rely on your manager that everybody knew what they were doing.
Phil's in Bedford. He says, Merse, I'm not sure you're going to want to answer this one. Merse, which of your teams did you enjoy playing for the most and why?
Do you know what? I like playing for all of them, but you got to say Arsenal because you're winning trophies. It's all about, you know, that. Exactly. Yeah. That's what still brings me. That's why I'm sitting here today. I won things in the game where I can talk about things with that experience. So I would have to say that, but I had some unbelievable times at the places I went to. I was very fortunate, very fortunate.
I mean, you played at some fantastic places.
I had an unbelievable season at Middlesbrough. I had 4.5 unbelievable years at Villa, where I probably played my best football. I had an unbelievable year at Portsmouth. It's weird, like you talk Arsenal, you talk Middlesbrough, Villa, Portsmouth, and then fans will go, "Oh, he's one of the best players we've ever seen here," and this and that. Then I go to Walsall and I wouldn't get in their top 100. I wouldn't get in their top 100. I mean, do you know what I mean? David Kelly will get voted in front of me, you know. Yeah. So for me, I was fortunate. I played around good players, and I was fortunate at Walsall, but I was just ill at the time. I got to play with Vinnie Samways, who I played with him against Tottenham, and then when we were kids, and then to go and play with him again when we were 34, 35 was, I love that. He was a top player.
Yeah. And he won't say it, so I will for him. He says he played around top players, and he did, but he was a top player as well. Absolutely. Look, I remember Merse. Let's have another question now. I think you'll get hear from Guy.
Hi, Jeff and Merse. This is Guy from Tunbridge Wells. Big fan of Football's Greatest. I had a quick question for Merse. I wanted to ask, Merse, what was your favourite story about living with Gazza?
Keep it clean.
Right. We were living together in Hutton Rugby one day. Like, we lived in Hutton Rugby, me, Gazza, Jimmy Firebellies, and my brother. And he got up one morning, he said, I want to move nearer to my mum and dad. So we went and had a look at this hall. Beautiful hall it was, beautiful, like lovely. Come downstairs, said, why is it so cheap? No one's bought it. She said, it's meant to be haunted. As soon as she said that, he said, I'll take it straight away. So we go home. We used to play this game, and we're indoors, and he rings up his mate, and he said, I've just bought so-and-so hall. So it must be a well-known hall, because if it wasn't, his mate would have asked where it was and all that. So he said, I want you to put a snooker table in. I want it to be painted, decorated, do the gardens, and I want the locks changed on the doors and the windows. La-di-da, puts the phone down. Sitting there having a drink, and about 15 minutes later, my brother went, what are you changing the locks on the windows and the door for, Gaz? Middle of nowhere. He went, so the ghost can't get in. And he was serious. It was serious, so.
Brilliant. There's so many great Gazza stories. Fantastic. I mean, what a wonderful player he was as well. But he is also the fan of so many great stories. The best English player I ever played with. Best English player I ever played with by a million miles. Yeah, I was going to say what made him special, but that's blindingly obvious. But was he, when he was in the dressing room and when you were, away as a group for England and things, was he the Gazza we would expect? Was he the mischief maker? Was he the joker?
Oh, 10 times worse than what you'd have expected. Honestly, 10 times worse. Yeah, you got to the... You used to check in at the hotel at Burnham Beaches, and you check in, you get your key, and he's such a great bloke, a really great bloke. But you're thinking, please don't be sharing with Gazza. Please don't share. And I remember turning up one day for a thing, and Arsenal lads stick together, so we all went together. So me and Alan Smith turned up at the hotel. So you imagine Smudgy goes, "Can I have my room, please?" And he gets his room, and he went, "Yeah, you're sharing with Paul Gascoigne." He went, "With Paul Gascoigne?" He went to me, he went, "Merse, swap." I said, nah. And he said he was he was a nightmare. Yeah, but so just constant. I don't know how he got to play on at the end, because his energy was. But as I say, the best English football player I ever played with by a million miles.
Yeah. Craig Hignett, the ex-Liverpool and Middlesbrough player, he used to room with Gazza, and he's got a lot of good stories about rooming with him. I still don't think he's recovered yet. Let's have some relatively quick-fire ones. Chris in Bishop Stortford, what did you think about having to give up your number 10 shirt to Dennis Bergkamp?
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. I mean, I got a phone call off the club to say Dennis Bergkamp signing, he wants the 10 shirt. Yeah, I had no problem with that. Yeah, no. I think I'd have had a problem if it was Glenn Elder, but I didn't have a problem with Dennis Bergkamp.
Yeah.
I'm only joking, Glenn. Well, I'm not really, but you've got to say that.
Dennis Bergkamp, I mean, he'd be up there one of the greatest you played with, wouldn't he?
Best I played with by a million miles.
Yeah.
No one got closer. No, head and shoulders. There's shelves in football. There's shelves, and he was on that shelf. So you can imagine when you're talking about your Maradonas, your Messis and your Ronaldos, what shelves they're on. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, phenomenal footballer. Phenomenal.
Yeah, almost an honour to give your shirt to him, to be honest.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, 100%. Yeah, and he was honoured.
Dave in Ascot says, what's your most prized possession from your career?
All my medals got stolen, so I haven't got my medals. So the one thing I would say is my PFA 1989 Young Player of the Year, to get voted from all the players in the country that you was the best young player. I think that was a big achievement.
Prized possession to your memories, Merse, as well,
Yeah,
you've got great memories.
I mean, you know what? One of my best memories, and believe it or not, was getting clapped off at Middlesbrough. Getting clapped off at Millwall. I got a standing ovation at Millwall when I was playing for Portsmouth.
Why? What happened during the game?
I had a game of my life. We won 5-0. It was one of them games. It was the best game I ever played in my whole career. I played over 700 games. It was the best game I ever played. I was hitting passes, and even I was thinking, how's that get there? Do you know what I mean? And with 5 minutes to go, Harry brought me off, and the whole ground stood up. And I just a memory, because I remember getting to the car after, and about a 75-year-old bloke come up to me and he went, I've been coming to Millwall since I was 6. He said, I've never seen that, son. Never seen anybody stand up for another player. And I've always remembered that, always remembered it.
I'm not just saying this, Merse. I bumped into Millwall supporters who to this day remember that performance and still talk about it.
Yeah,
so whenever they mention you, that's what
exactly.
they talk
so,
about.
Yeah, and things like that, they're memories for me. Do you know what I mean? Because they don't happen. That just doesn't happen every day of the week.
Yeah. Time for one more. Chris in Bootle. Who's your favourite person to listen to talking about football? It doesn't have to be a public figure, and it doesn't have to be me.
Yeah,
doesn't have to be me, but leaving me out of this, good.
I could sit and talk to Harry Redknapp till the cows come home. Honestly, I could. He's not just his stories, but his experience, what he's done in the game, and to be able to play under him, his knowledge. It does my swede when I hear people go, "Oh, he's a wheeler dealer." He's the best, him and Brian Clough.
It does Harry's as well.
And it should do, because, tactically, he's one of the best managers I played under. You don't manage 1,000 times if you don't know what you're talking about. And him and Brian Clough were the greatest two managers never to manage England. No question about that.
And that's it for our first Q&A episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be doing some more between now and the end of the Euros. To get in touch, email us at footballsgreatest@foldingpocket.co.uk, or you can leave a voice note on WhatsApp. The number to call is 0203 951 9653. Merce and I are back next Saturday with reaction from the first week of the Euros. Football's Greatest Euros is a Folding Pocket production with BBC Studios.